Question number 170. If a simply supported beam of a length L and breadth D, the depth D carries a central load W. Another beam has the same length and depth, but its width depth is double. The deflection of a beam will be as compared to beam A: 1/4, 1/2, double, 4 times. Answer is B, 1/2. 1/2. The expression ei d to the power 4y upon dx x power the 4 at any section for a beam is equal to load intensity at section, shear force at a section, bending moment at a section, slope at the section. Answer is load intensity at the section. Load intensity at a section. Load intensity at a section. A beam which is fixed at one end and free at another is called simply supported beam, fixed beam, overhanging beam, cantilever beam. Its answer cantilever beam. Cantilever beam. Cantilever, simply supported beam. A beam extending beyond the support is called simply supported. A beam extended beyond the support, simply supported beam, fixed beam, overhanging beam, cantilever beam. Answer is C, overhanging beam. A beam incastrated at both the end is called a beam incasted at the both end are incasted and is called simply supported beam, fixed beam, cantilever beam, continuous beam. Incasted both end means fixed is called fixed beam. It's called fixed beam. A beam supported or on more than two support is called simply supported beam, fixed beam, overhanging beam, continuous beam. Its answer is continuous beam. A cantilever beam is one which is fixed at both ends, fixed at one end and free at another end, support at its end, support on both ends. Answer is B. Fixed at one end, and free at another end. A continuous beam which is continuous beam is one which is fixed at both ends, fixed at one end and free at another end, support on more than two supports, extending beyond the support. Support. Okay, continuous beam कसं support on more than two beam. Continuous beam support हुन्छ दुईटा दुईभन्दा बढी. A concentrated load is one which acts at a point on a beam, spreading uniformly over the whole span of the beam, spreading uniformly over the whole length. It varies uniformly over the whole length. Concentrated load. Concentrated load. Act on a beam of a point. The answer is act at a point on a beam. Act at a point on a beam. The bending moment on a section is maximum where shear force is minimum, maximum, changing sign 0. के हुन्छ यसको आन्सर कमेन्ट गर्न साथीहरु changing sign its answer is changing sign कुनै पनि बीममा bending moment on a section कुनै पनि सेक्सनमा bending moment maximum where shear force is changing sign जहाँ shear force change गर्छ sign when a load on a free end of a cantilever beam is increased failure will be occur at the free end, at the fixed end, in the middle of the beam, at a distance 2L from free end. When a load on a free end of a cantilever beam is increased, cantilever beam free end load increase failure will occur. At free end, fixed end, in the middle, increase at a distance 2L upon 3 from free end. Answer is at the fixed end. Fixed end के भन्छ failure occurrence. The bending moment at free end of a cantilever beam is bending moment at the free end of the cantilever beam is 0, minimum, maximum, none of these. Then यसको bending moment at the free end of a cantilever beam is maximum हुन्छ त्यहाँ. The shear force of a cantilever beam of length L carries a uniformly distributed load of W per unit length is at the at the fixed end. Fixed end मा के हुन्छ fixed end मा के हुन्छ यसको shear force cantilever beam मा shear force length यति हुन्छ carry uniformly distributed load of W distributing load per unit length 0 at the fixed end 0 हुन्छ fixed end मा. The shear force of a cantilever beam of length L carrying uniformly distributed load as per unit length at the fixed end. The same answer. यसको पनि आन्सर 0 नै हुन्छ. The shear force diagram of a cantilever beam. Shear force diagram of a cantilever beam of length L carries uniformly different as per unit length will be right angle triangle, isosceles triangle, equilateral triangle, or rectangle. यो जहिले के हुन्छ right angle triangle form गर्छ. Shear force diagram of a cantilever beam of length L and carries a uniformly distributed load of W per unit length will be right angle triangle. अब अर्को क्वेसन, बेन्डिङ मुभमेन्ट अफ क्यान्टिलिभर बिम। यहाँ के शेयर फोर्स भयो। यहाँ बेन्डिङ क्यान्टिलिभर एल क्यारिज अ युनिफर्मली डिस्ट्रिब्युटेड लोड अफ W as per unit length is at the free end. Per unit length at free end. फ्री इन्डमा के हुन्छ जहिले नि यसको जिरो, यसको आन्सर जिरो। The shear force and bending moment zero, at free end of a cantilever if it carries point load at the free end, uniform point load at the middle of its end, uniformly distributed load on the whole length, and यसको हुन्छ A। Yes. 86. The shear force and bending moment zero at free end. Shear force and at free end of container, it always carries uniformly distributed load to the whole length. Uniformly distributed load over the whole length. त्यो कन्डिसनमा के हुन्छ, बेन्डिङ मोमेन्ट र शेयर फोर्स जिरो हुन्छ। बेन्डिङ मोमेन्ट अफ क्यान्टिलिभर बीम of length L and carries a uniformly distributed load per unit length is at the fixed end. At the fixed end. Bending moment of cantilever beam. Bending moment of a cantilever beam length L and carries uniformly distributed load per length is WL at the fixed end. Load length फिक्स्ड इनमा हुन्छ बेन्डिङ मोमेन्ट जब क्यान्टिलिभरमा प्रयोग गर्दाखेरि। शेयर फोर्स डायग्राम फर अ क्यान्टिलिभर